Good evening and welcome to Africa's Boardroom. I'm Stephen Gunnion. Tonight we're discussing development convergence and looking at how the next decade will be characterised less by collaboration between sectors, more by convergence. I'm joined by Trip Allport. He's ADP International Programme Manager for Africa. Thabani Maphosa, Senior Director in charge of the Food Programming and Management Group for the World Vision. Valerie Flanagan, Head of Partnerships for Enablis and Donovan Muller, Senior Executive at Accenture and also Enablis Board Member. Welcome everybody.
Thanks.
Trip, I'll start with you. What is development convergence and why do we need it?
Yeah, thanks first for having us on the show. This is a very important and relevant topic today. Development convergence describes a trend where we're seeing increasing interlinkages between the public, private, and development sector, all with aligned interests and a common objective towards social and economic developmental challenges, such as in the areas of health, education, HIV and AIDS, poverty alleviation, and others.
Donovan, who's driving this trend? Is it being driven by business? Is it being driven by NGOs or by governments?
I think it's coming across from all these different sectors you just mentioned, Stephen. So, for example, what we have seen is that there's a strong impetus from the business sector in order to work much closer with the NGOs, and we are getting a lot of support from government as well in this process.
Valerie, are you seeing this in your sector at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. We're supported by a number of different organizations, whether they come from the private sector, the public sector, both internationally and locally in South Africa. So it's very important to us to have this kind of collaboration.
Thabani, how is this different from what happened previously? I mean, is it actually taking developments forward?
I guess it is different in that we are moving beyond the transactional stage where we are rallying towards a common purpose and also realizing our own shortcomings in terms of how far we can go and realizing the opportunity of working together. So
Trip, didn't we have a common purpose previously?
We did, but I think, building off what Thabani said, it's moving beyond just the transactional and actually moving towards where there is truly an alignment of interests and all are engaging for their own benefit. For business, it's moving beyond just shareholder value. For NGOs, it's looking to how to truly engage the private and private sector, and also working with government to provide public-private partnerships for service delivery.
And what's the final goal of this trip?
Well, I think the final goal is really to build sustainable, scalable, replicable business models that are truly inclusive of all three sectors and can provide lasting impact for these social and economic challenges.
Donovan, what do you think has triggered it that it's happening now at this point in the 21st century? Why didn't it happen in the 20th century?
Stephen, I think that there's a lot more visibility of what's going on in big organizations. So, for example, people want to see development, people want to see sustainability. I see that from an Accenture point of view, we want to work with organizations that share those common goals, common objectives. And so we will align ourselves with those organizations now in order to achieve that common ideal.
And how do you actually identify those organizations with common objectives?
Well, what we've done in the past is we've worked, for example, with organizations like the World Economic Forum, and coming out of those organizations we have seen programs being set up, and those programs then are very closely aligned with our business strategies, with our visions. Immediately we then identify those areas that we feel comfortable participating in, and immediately we then align ourselves with organizations that are striving towards the same goals.
Trip, Accenture Development Partnerships, tell us a little bit about that and also about your links with Enablis and World Vision.
Sure, happily. Accenture Development Partnerships is the nonprofit arm of Accenture. We aim to channel our management technology consulting services to the international development sector at reduced rates through sort of a three-way contribution model where Accenture's foregoing margin, the employee is taking a salary cut and trying to bring the rates down to more developmental norms. And we've been working with both Enablis and World Vision for quite some number of years as strategic partners to help them both, to help Enablis establish its business and expand globally. And World Vision been working since about 2005 across a number of programmatic areas.
Valerie, the benefits that you've seen with being a partner with ADP?
Okay, well, before we can even go into another country, we need to do a feasibility study. And the ADP team normally goes in first, and they take 2 of them, and they go through the process of determining whether it's a friendly environment for an organization like Enablis. And, you know, it saves us a lot of costs we couldn't, you know, otherwise bear on our own. So they have professionals who are very familiar with those countries. They have an Accenture office normally there, which can provide technical advice, assistance, open doors. You know, they're a good network for them. So once we get the feasibility study finished and we realize that this is a good country for us to go into, then this is where we actually, the new funding from Accenture kicks in after ADP is finished. World
Vision, would it be the same thing, Thabani?
I would say it would be the same thing. In a number of areas where we've worked with them, it has been with some of our systems that needed to be improved in terms of their efficiency and effectiveness, and they've helped us troubleshoot through some business analysis on where the bottlenecks are, and our systems have been oiled up to where I would say they are much more responsive to the context that we work in. But also in other contexts, they've helped us identify other partners that we can work with that traditionally we would not have actually been able to identify ourselves because of the other view that they have on private partnerships, and they've brought in partners to some of our work that has actually made our work much more easier and more productive.
Donovan, what are the benefits that business sees in relationships such as these?
I think we've seen a number of benefits through our relationship with Enablis. Firstly, which for me was a real eye-opener, was when Enablis decided to embark on the East Africa journey that they went into. I was able to glean a lot of insight into that region that helped me to understand better how the market works in East Africa. Some of the other things that I've seen coming out of it was, in terms of our entrepreneurship development program or enterprise development program as part of our own Black Economic Empowerment scorecard, we could immediately identify entrepreneurs that had similar businesses to ours or that were offering complementary services to ours that we could get services from. And those 2 areas I think really helped us to see the best way forward for ourselves.
Trip, how about other key partnerships that you have in the private sector and across other sectors as well?
Yeah, we work across a number of sectors. We work with a whole range of international development agencies, the UN, major donor foundations, obviously many of the large international development sector organizations such as CARE, obviously World Vision. But obviously part of this development convergence is our proactive push to also link our corporate clients and our development sector clients in the way we were just mentioning, and to really bring those 2 together to find opportunities for sustainable, business models.